of energy and full of action. Now, today's program is programmed instructions. Programmed learning is very old concept. When I was a student in TTTI Chandigarh, that time we had full paper on this program learning and computer assisted learning. That is, I think, in 1989 or 90, computers were coming to India that time in a large scale. So program learning is, I think, about 50 years old concept, and uh, this is a very important concept where you can divide the whole scheme of training program into small sections and incorporate some breaks and questions, and students can learn part by part. uh, After attending this session, before we go into details, there are two objectives I have put forward. One is design and select user program learning method for the employees in the training program. Now, there are various ways of program learning methods, and various program learning methods are available which you can design and select. So correct selection is very important. So that should be our uh, objective number one. Number two is how to club this program learning concept with the multimedia, which is very important nowadays, because everything is nowadays internet based, web based, and computer related. Everything is converted into electronics. The data, and then it comes in front of us. So that's a very important thing, how to use our multimedia to enhance the programming language, programming learning techniques for the trainees. Let us begin with the program learning, but before that I want to visit the previous sessions. We have done training methodologies, and which is a very important gap, between filling the gap between the teaching learning system and trainers and trainees. So many various methodologies we have learned: lecture, demonstration, case study, business games, e-learning, and on-the-job training. The last one, effective learning outcomes, right method should be selected. These I have been stressing from the very beginning, that you should select the right method. If it is a passing of the information or a large volume of knowledge based information, then lecture is important. If you want to demonstrate something, a small practical things or skill based thing, demonstration is there, and so and so. Last one we did on the job training, and very emotional questions I raised today this morning, very good. And these very, it means you have been thinking on that. So we have done so many things. Let us begin today with the program learning. You see, learning activities, it is a whole thing. When you select a topic, you select a skill, select some stories or the chapters or the subject or the topics. It is a whole thing. Learning activities are organized in linear and in selected method. So what we think of is that these activities are linear, means something where I learn and then I pass on to the next step. I think this you will agree, everybody. Uh, and these are always done in selected and sequential manner. Learning any topic, suppose I'm learning mathematics, or I'm learning a topic on social science, and I want to know the basics first, and then I'll go to the next step. So that actually is the basic thing of the program learning, suitable for observable outcome. Now, once you know 2 plus 2 is equal to 4, then you can go ahead and try to see 2 into 3 equal to 6. Now, these steps in observable, if I learn this 2 plus 2, 4, then only I pass on to the multiplication. So this way, similarly in any social science subject or in management subject or science and technology, we observe that yes, there is a progress. Then we go to the next step. That is actually programmed. Means if you do this, then you'll do another thing. So this type of sequential progress is incorporated in the program learning. Each stage can be monitored by getting feedback from the learner. Now, this once I know 2 plus 2 is 4, I teach the student and then I ask them how much is 2 plus 2 4, and everybody says yes, it is 2 plus 2 equal to 4. Then I monitor the progress also, and I teach them another, okay, 2 plus 3 will be how much. So then I take a feedback from them, and then I measure the progress and go ahead. So these are actually the basic steps of program learning. And let us go for the a specific definition, what it is. Now there are many definitions in books and in the internet. I have selected these two because these two fits in our corporate training programs or management training programs. The definition, first definition says that the program learning is the process of arranging the material. See what I have been saying, if you see any book, you pick up any book, you will see it is divided into chapters, and then chapters, and again also sub chapters. And nowadays there is a concept of chapter 1, then one paragraph is written chapter 1.1, then 1.2, like that. So this is nothing new. Only thing is that we'll learn how to do this in the corporate training. Now, program learning is a process of arranging the material to be learned into series of sequential steps. Now, this sequential steps and arrangement is your duty, means our duty, the trainers. Uh, Only condition is it should be from known to the unknown. Now, 2 plus 2, 4 I taught, then 2 plus 3 I put them. So, the known is there, 2 plus 2 equal to 4. Then I ask them how much will be 2 plus 3. So, that is unknown. So, this program learning is a step by step, and the sequential means you have to select the sequence and then you have to put it in front of the trainees. We'll come further, explain these terms further in the subsequent slides. Another definition I find which is suitable for our corporate trainings: program learning is a method of designing a reproducible sequence. You see, the once you fix the sequence, then it is printed or it is put on the computer, put on the web. You can again, reproduce the same sequence of instructional events to produce a measurable and consistent effort. Now, this measurable, once I say 2 plus 2 equal to 4, then I ask them the question 2 plus 3 equal to how much. Then if they say 5, then I say good. It means they have learned. If it is answered is not 5, it means I have to repeat the same. So this sequence I'll show in graphical way in subsequent slides, how this can be understood and how this can be explained in a better way, so that a trainer becomes expert in using this program learning. And it's very simple. There is nothing complicated about this program learning. Only thing is that we have to work on it. Instructional events to produce a measurable and consistent, means it should be in a very similar standard should be maintained at every step. So this way we can, from known to unknown in the previous decision, a previous definition, and here measurable and consistent, these two words are to be noted, and these are our duty as a trainer, is my duty, your duty, that how I frame that or how we plan that, so that the students are giving the feedback correctly. I become satisfied, and then I move on to the next step. This happens from primary school to the postgraduate or PhD level. This happens in the same manner. The whole syllabus is framed that way. The whole program learning is framed that way. Only thing is that we are only concentrating in the particular that our training programs, how it can be done similarly in our training programs. Now, what are the main objectives of this? There are many objectives, but I think few we should incorporate. Students learn at his or her own speed. Now, once I prepare the study material and give it to them, in olden times when we were students, then a program learning a topic was divided into small topics, and at the end of each topic there are some questions. If I answer correctly, then I go to the next step. So students can think of, okay, I'll learn this two, then another two next day, like that. So students learn at his or own speed because it is divided into various parts sequentially, and in a test basis with the breaks in between. So the students know how much is to be time is to be given. Students learn without the presence of the teacher. This is the most important thing or very crucial thing here. Teacher is not there. The program itself is coordinating, but that program was made by the trainer or the teacher. So students learn without the presence of the teacher. So here the whole thing is based on the student soldiers. They are responsible for their own learning. And nowadays this is very important. Young generation are, they are thinking that everything is available in front of me through internet, through books and other things. So I can learn little by little, make progress. I just need a little bit guide from the trainers and teachers. So trainers and teachers role is minimum here, and the students responsibility and the role are maximum here. And actually some brilliant students make faster progress, it has been seen. And some not so intelligent students and not so hardworking students really lag behind. Materials are presented in logical steps. This is very important, that once I say 2 plus 2 equal to 4, then I ask say 2 plus 2, 2 plus 3 is 5, or 3 plus 5 equal to 8. I should not jump to how much is 8 divided by 2. So that is not logical, or I should not ask something more complicated thing which was not covered in this topic or in this module. So that is, the materials are presented in logical steps. So how the things are to be organized, that is your job, your trainer's job, or our duty, how that we can do it. Students can study and evaluate himself. So because I'll show in the frame, I have done some exercises, some slides. You see that the students will evaluate, because when we did, we remember, if the answers were wrong, then we scored less marks. Then sometimes the computer get feedback, you redo your previous slides. So like this, it is very important that students get the feedback, and he or she knows actually how much learning has taken place. Though the teacher nowadays, intelligent media are there, it is recorded and teacher can coordinate from sitting somewhere far away. Promotion of self-learning, this is important thing. If you have the interest, if you have the eagerness, if you have the time, if you have the knowledge, basic knowledge, you can start somewhere and promote self-learning. This world actually nowadays slowly going to the stage where it is a lifelong learning, and lifelong learning is mostly self-learning. Program learning is individualized, because it is up to me how much I will learn. It is up to me which chapter I'll do and which chapter I will not do. So this is depends on the individual trainees, and logical sequence of material. As I said, the students will lose interest if there is no logical sequence. If you ask something else which was not related to the previous chapter or previous slides or previous paragraph, then the students may not find interest to make a progress. So that is important for the students' interest to be a good learner is a logical sequence of the material. Interaction between learner and the program. Here, program is interacting. It is a virtual learning taking place, you see. The program is interacting, not the trainer. Trainer is somewhere, sitting far away, who designed the program, who designed the program learning and handed it over to the learner. It is the program then becomes the interacting medium with the learner. That is the beauty of this program learning. Nowadays, with the advent of the computers, internet, and animation and simulation, these have become very much useful, and people use it in all subjects matters, from simple basic concepts in science, sociology, social science, and technology and management. Immediate knowledge of results. How much I learned that program learning, the answer is always there. The keys are given. So I know where I did the mistake, and I can again read and reread again and again to master the subject or master that topic, and then score 100 out of 100. Then I go to the next step. So here is a chance of always making better use of your time. It is not that once you appeared in an exams you scored 60%, so you can never get 90% in future. Here, if you first scored 60%, you can always score. There is always scope of scoring 100%. You just read and read again and again. So that is the beauty of this program learning, that you become 100% perfect and then go to the next step or next material which is given to you in a sequence manner. Constant evaluation. So this happens, you become happy, and the trainers also have designed that way. So evaluation, it is recorded in the computer how much questions, how many questions you have answered correctly, how many wrongly. And nowadays online examinations actually it gives that way, immediate results are shown. So constant evaluation is part of the program learning, and student and trainer can easily monitor how much learning has taken place. Learner selects the answer for the questions at the end of each paragraph or frame. Now you see, it is you have given the questions. It is up to the learner to select the answer which is hidden in the paragraph, or which is you will be able to answer after reading the paragraph or understanding the concept therein. So sometimes this paragraph in our computer terminology, we call it frame, like one screen. So this word sometimes we'll use also, not paragraph what was used in the print media, that is books and others. Here we'll use one frame or one screen. So correct answers will lead to the next paragraph or frame. So if you do with the coming of the computers and internets and our waves, what is that? These students cannot go further unless he completes it. So here is a very good thing as a trainer, I feel that all trainees should be scoring 100%, then only he will go ahead. So here there is no 90% or 80% or 40% or 100%, all are 100%. That is the beauty of this thing. And learning takes place in the students satisfaction. Yes, he has done. So wrong answer will lead to remedial paragraph. If you give a wrong answer, if you write 3 plus 5 equal to 9, then you will be taken back to that addition chapter or the frame. Here it is paragraph or frame, and explain to you that it is not 9, it is 3 plus 5 equal to 8. So that correct answer will help the students to learn it again and correct it and go ahead. So this is a good thing, where individual attention, the program is giving individual attention to the trainee, not the teacher. So many number of students can be involved in this. After studying the remedial paragraph frame, he will be directed to the main paragraph. Once you have done it, then you will be again going back to the main paragraph or frame, and again the questions will be put to you, answer it, you score 100, and then you go to the next frame. So this way what happens, the students become very happy, satisfied, and motivated to learn further, that he has scored everything, he has done everything correctly, so his score is 100%. So this way the training or the learning takes place, it is a very effective manner, and satisfied, the students is very much satisfied and motivated to learn further. That is the beauty of this program learning. Now program learning can be linear. Now I have done it. I don't know how much I have been successful this in PPT drawing. I did it in the PPT. That is frame one, frame two, and frame three. Now system, in this system, what we have done is that frame one is one material, and then frame 2 is another paragraph or material, and frame 3. So you study frame 1, then proceed to the frame 2, and then you proceed to the frame 3. So this way is a linear. It is just without any hindrance, without any gap, without any break, without any control. You are proceeding from. It is just like reading a book, or reading a paragraph after paragraph, or seeing some animation video on the computer screen, by screen after screen. So it is, that's why it is known as the linear. We will explain this again. You will see. Let us go to branch. How the branch, program learning can be learned in branches. Suppose there is one. Look at this. This frame one. Now, in this frame one, suppose I have put some material for learning of the students or the trainees. Some topic is explained here. Now, after that, some questions are incorporated therein in the frame one, in the computer screen. And then I ask the question, say 1 or 2 or 3, 4 questions I ask. And if the trainee gives the correct answer, then he or she goes to the frame 2. If he is not able to give the correct answer, means wrong answer, he is sent to the remedial frame. Remedial frame means it is some sort of, what mistakes he has done in the re-explanation of the frame one material here. And then again he is forwarded to this frame one. Then frame one, again he studies the subject or the matter or the paragraph, and then again he answers the question. As I said, he scores 100%, and then it comes to the next level of learning or the material. So this one you try to understand. Here is some topic, anything. It can be about firefighting, it can be about welding, it can be about a motivation lecture, leadership lecture, it can be about change management, it can be a mathematics or social science. Any topic, you have put it in different paragraphs sequentially, logical way, and the number one frame is any part of that topic or the subject. And I study this one. You are my trainer, I am now training. So if I answer them, try to understand the concept, read it, and then correctly answer, then I go to the next frame. Next frame is a logical step of the same topic or subject uh, in the frame 2, which the trainer has given. In case here you are the trainer, so you have given here. If I don't answer correctly, my answer is wrong. Now this is incorporated in the system. So if I give wrong answer, immediately they will give that your, out of the 3 questions you have answered 2 correctly, 1 wrong. So again they will put. Now here remedial frame, what the trainer will do or you will do is will put the correct answers here. Not whole thing, correct answers with little bit explanation, because the questions you have put here, so you are in control, and students learns, suppose 1 or 2 answers wrong, so you give the answers in the remedial frame with little bit explanation, not the copy paste of the frame 1. So this is the difference between the frame 1 and the remedial frame. It will depend on the questions you have put with the correct answers here, and that computer or the program can control it. And then once you do it again, you go there. Now you know the answers, you have done it again, and then again you answered, your score becomes 100% somewhere in the program, and then your answer is correct, you go to the frame. Suppose if you are not giving correct answer, here I am a student, so if I am not giving the correct answer, then again I am directed this way. So unless I score 100%, I am not coming out of this loop. And that is the good thing about it, that I have to learn it. There is no escape. So this is the branch. There is another form of branching I have done, and these I have seen in many books. Instead of one frame, a subject matter is divided into various frames or paragraphs. And suppose I take first 4 paragraphs, and then I introduce a test. This also can be done. Instead of 4 paragraphs or 4 frames, I can take 2 or 3, no problem. So then I take the test, or I answered the questions given by the trainer. And then if I'm not okay, means some problems are there, suppose 4 questions are there, I'm not able to answer solve correctly, then I am directed to the frame 1 again. So there is no remedial here. So here again I go there, frame 1, frame 2, frame 3, frame 4. Again I read and try to see the questions, because questions I came to know only at this step, not here. The questions are given only at the end of this frame 4. That is decided by you as a trainer, not the student. Now, depending on the subject, depending on the topic, it is up to you to design. As I said, in the objective, select and design on depending on the topic. It is your duty. It is your responsibility. So I know the questions now. Again, I go back. So my, you see, frame of mind or my thinking will now change. Now I will try to see where those answers are there hidden in those paragraph. And then again I will take the test, and once I become okay, then I go to the next level of frame 5. So these two things to be understood very clearly. And this I think is the beauty of this program learning. And this is mostly the responsibility depends on the how it is to be designed, how it is to be selected, why 4 frames are selected, why it was designed this way. This is the duty of the trainer, not the trainees. And trainees then will, suppose I am a trainee, I will go through all the frame 1, 2, 3, 4 without knowing your objective of putting them together. And then I'll take the test. And if I am not successful, again I'll come back and read all these things. So it is you, as an expert, have to decide how I can put these things. Suppose the uh, learning objective is that, so that I will decide, the trainer will decide, and if it is okay, then we'll go to the frame 5. These nowadays with the computer system, internet, and web-based learning, this can be designed in a beautiful manner, and I think it is if you can utilize and use it somewhere, it's a very good thing. You are an expert trainer then. Should I take few questions, Alokji? Hello? Uh, Hello? Arunji, Alokji, anybody is there? Can I take some question?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Please, please.
Please select.
Please raise your hands.
Allow them to ask question on the video itself. Sorry.
Hello. So good morning, Kinshuk here.
Good morning, Kingsuk ji.
Yeah, sir. मैंने आपसे privately भी पूछा था. Is MOOCs an example of program learning? Massive open online courses.
You see, massive online courses, if it is framed this way, then it is program learning. Most of the open learnings are program learning. If it is, following certain syllabus or certain curriculum, then it has to be that way. If you are taking one session in a lecture session or in one day or half day training program, there it is not. Actually, you have said correctly. It is actually long-term based, training, and where some subjects are to be taught, where some skills are to be taught. That is really program learning.
Okay.
Yes. Next,
In here. I have two questions. One is this program learning.
your good name, sir.
I am Arvind.
Arvindji, good morning. Tell me.
Morning, sir. I have two questions. One is this program learning, is it trainer centric or trainee centric? Because
It is trainee centric.
but trainee is actually forced to study only those things which is decided by the trainer.
Yes, but at his own pace,
Yes.
and at his own pace, and how much he will learn.
Right, right. And he can also, but he cannot skip actually. He has to, follow the steps.
No. Yes, you are right. Only, as I said, he is controlled by the program, not by the teacher.
So that was
The
controversy, I mean, it is a part trainer controlled and partially controlled by.
now trainer once decides, and as I said in the definition also, first slides you see, it is reproducible. Means once you decide, it is for all students to who are taking this portion of the module or this portion of the curriculum. It is for everybody. Now, once I have decided in topics that these 4 frames should be there, it is for everybody. Arvind Kingsuk, anybody, Rita ma'am, anybody. So this my control is gone. Now it is up to you whether you will read this or not, or when you will read it, and how you will do it. That is up to you. How fast you will do it. So trainee centric, of course, and it is controlled by the program. Program, of course, is written by you as a trainer. If I am a student, then I follow the learning sequence which you have decided.
Right. Thank you, sir. Another question is,
Yes, please.
you talked about that program learning is measurable and it has to have a consistent effect on behavior.
Oh, good.
If we are designing, program learning for, let's say, behavioral trainings, if it can be done, do you not think that, it will be very difficult to measure
It is.
the learning, and at the same time, how can we, challenge, how can we guarantee the consistency? Because each one has a different sort of learning style.
I agree. Behavioral aspects are very difficult, but nowadays, lots of animations and other things are there repeatedly, giving them. I've seen some animation videos on leadership, motivation, business negotiations. These are helpful, in various, learning programs or training programs I have seen. But yes, what you said is, if it is a knowledge based, if it is a skill based, it is very easily done. If
Yes.
it is behavioral and attitude based, then it is. I have some frame after this. I will slides. I will see how you react to that. Also, please wait.
Okay, sir. Thank
Next
you.
question, please.
Good
Sir,
morning, sir.
is it? Oh,
Sorry.
Please, ladies
Please,
first.
sir.
Ladies
Ladies
first.
first.
sir, very good morning. I just want
Morning.
to, I'm Divya Jyoti here. I
Yes,
want
yes,
to
ma'am.
just take on from here only from what Arvind just said. So how would we be able to know if suppose it's for behavior training, how would we know that the desired change has happened, after
See,
the learning?
remember I had given one example of a front office assistant in behavioral changes. How they, say, pick up the phone and say, hello, good morning, or what can I do for you? Instead of that, she says, hello, nothing else, So after the training program, if she does, it means the answer here is after the training. Here the answer is not okay. So
Okay.
again, she has to be trained.
All right. So one more question.
Yes,
Suppose we
please.
attend one online session. Would that
Okay.
also be a programmed learning or it's no?
Yeah, you see, I have some example at the end of this. I'll coming to that. One frame can be. You see, I'll take, but it is just a small example. Depends on you whether one session you want to utilize this. But my suggestion is these are for long-term training programs, as somebody said on the MOOC and others, open learning systems, and these are very much helpful there to a long-term, objective of training or teaching a subject matter or whatever it may be, or corporate training programs or whatever it may be. Yeah,
Okay.
gentlemen, madam.
Thank you.
Okay, so let
Thank you
me
very
go
much.
to that next gentleman. Yes, sir.
Good morning, sir. Good morning, sir.
Very
My
good
name is
morning.
Parveen Vasist.
Yes, Praveenji.
Sir, what are other ways like it is program learning is online, and what are the other ways generally people use offline?
Offline is the book. I did it long time back, 30 years back.
And online through this YouTube or something like
Oh
online.
yeah, now YouTube say better hai ki you have your own system, own setup, own web based or something like that. IBM has done it. I'll give some examples later on. It can be done, and YouTube based also you can do it, but the control should be in your hand.
And apart from book, any other method, sir? No.
I know books, pamphlets, reading materials, studies, like this. Print media is one. Another is this thing nowadays. We'll discuss few things about how to use this with multimedia, as I said in the objective. So
Right,
here
sir.
you can computer, online, web-based animation. We'll touch on that in the subsequent slides.
Right, sir. Thank you.
Two
Should
things, sir.
we
Sir, may
continue?
I, sir? Sir, one question, sir. This is Anand.
Please, this is, yes.
Sir, firstly, is the
Don't repeat the questions already asked by somebody else.
I, so the training programs like Byju's and all which are coming up for these children now, they would qualify as program learning.
Oh yeah, good. See, this is actually 2 plus 2 equal to 4, and then 2 plus 5 equal to 7. So these are all actually based on this program learning. You are very, nice, sir. Thanks for mentioning that. All educational programs are program learning hidden inside this system. System, you call it web or internet or computers, whatever. In our time, what used to happen? We used to be given a CD. I used to enter the CD, then whole chapter, used to come there. It is already made there. Nowadays, it is available through the internet or web or animation, whatever you call it. So yes, all educational programs are more or less, except definitions and drawing. These are all frame-based programs, program learning.
And sir, one more small issue. So yesterday in class by Mr. Kaushal, sir, we had learned of formative assessment, sir, and as to how that formative assessment is going to enhance the training content and the quality of the training. Can this program learning be loosely compared to what we had learned as far as the formative
You
assessment?
see, all assessments are aimed at measuring the learning level of the trainees. Now, how that has to be done, it is depends on the trainer. Now, yes, all types of assessments are incorporated in this, but it is up to the trainer how to do that. It is up to you. Okay, should we move to next? We'll take up the question at the end also. Please allow me to move ahead, sir.
Sure.
Okay. Any questions we'll take at the end around 11:15.
Yes, please, sir.
Okay.
Okay, sir.
So, okay. So now this, as I said, the example 1. You see, read this. This example is about the Maslow's hierarchy of motivation law. I think everybody has studied this, isn't it? All students, all participants will agree today. Read it once again. This is just a small example. In order to better understand what motivates human beings, Maslow proposed that human needs can be organized in a hierarchy. Hierarchy ranges from more concrete needs such as food and water to abstract concepts such as self-fulfillment. According to Maslow, when a lower need is met, the next need on the hierarchy becomes our focus of attention. You have read it. I have just copied pasted from somewhere, from some books or from somewhere. These are the 5 categories of needs according to Maslow. So physiological needs, safety needs, social belonging needs, illness needs, self-esteem needs, self-actualization needs. Now, trainer is trying to teach on the motivation, Maslow's motivation theory, to the students. And students, suppose I'm a student, I'm reading it. Maslow argued that failure to have needs met at various stages of the hierarchy could lead to illness, particularly psychiatric illness or mental health issues. Individuals whose physiological needs are not met may die or become extremely ill. When safety needs are not met, post-traumatic stress may occur. So this is the paragraph which says something about the Maslow's theory on human motivation or human needs. And after reading this, it says something positive, something negative about that. And after reading this, the trainer has put 2 questions. What is the lowest and highest form of human needs according to Maslow, and what happens if needs are not fulfilled? Now, after reading this, suppose I am a trainee, then I have to answer these answers are here. So if I read it 2-3 times, that is actually the learning is happening. Suppose a person who doesn't know Maslow's theory, he may have to read it 5 6 times. Suppose if you know, if I know, I may have to read two times or maybe 3 times. So this way the learning happens, and the student learns about the Maslow's hierarchy of human needs. And there are two questions put. It can be three questions if you wish. It depends on the as somebody was putting a question, that assessment, how it is to be done. It depends on the trainer. So if you think that instead of two questions should be one, it is very fine. If you think there should be 3 or 4 questions, it is up to you as a trainer to decide those questions, and the answers should be incorporated in that program, computer program or web-based program, whatever you call it. And then you compare his answers with your answer. If it is not, then what happens? Then this is suppose the Maslow's theory paragraph. It was shown in the computer or the screen. Now those two questions are answers correctly. Now this how it will be understood correctly, because the answers are already there. And if he answers correctly, then he goes to the next step of frame 2. If the answer, if I am a trainee, if I answer wrongly, then I am taken to the remedial frame. Remedial frame will have answered to those two questions exactly, with little bit of explanation, and take back to frame 1 on the Maslow's theory paragraph, whatever was written there. And then again answer the questions, and correct answer happens. And then he goes to the, I go to the frame 2. So this way what happens, this process of program learning actually helps you to learn, helps the students to learn about this paragraph. And that is nothing but, it says the various needs, of human beings, and what happens if the needs are not satisfied, and what are the needs. The 5 needs have been mentioned here. And this is, I think, good learning about the basic things about the Maslow's hierarchy of needs. And this you can elaborate further if you want. This is frame 1. Now on Maslow, somebody put question on Maslow's hierarchy of needs. Suppose you can design 10 or 15 slides, I mean frames, maybe 20 25. Now that becomes a whole chapter or whole module, or a part of the module. And then you give it to the students to learn it. And at the end of those, all the frames he has studied and answers correctly, then he is okay with that Maslow's hierarchy of needs, what is studied by all management students in the first year, or maybe first semester or second semester. And we have also studied this everywhere in HR and organization behavior chapters. So this is a good example of how we can do it. You can change the frame, you can change the subject matter. As I said, I have just copied it according to my understanding, that I want to incorporate this ideas. So I have selected that way. You can select in a different way. You can change the language, you can change the paragraphs, and put a different question or more questions. That is up to you. So let us, if that is clear, let us go to a next next frame, example 2. Now this, I am not going to ask the question. Here I have put as an exercise for you. Please develop 2 questions and answers for students in a training program. Suppose blockchain is nowadays a hot topic everywhere. Everybody is discussing blockchain. I am not mastered in that, so don't ask me any question on blockchain. What I have basic knowledge of, on blockchain, that I have put here. And the students, suppose I am a student or I am a trainee, I'll read this, and you will frame 2 or 3 questions on this, and you will write answers from there and put it in that system, so that a student learns it according to that frame. You will decide. So this is an exercise for you to do, and see how you can interact each other, and develop the questions and answer from this paragraph. Uh, it is up to you to change the language if you want. As I said, the subject matter, only thing you remember, which I have explained in the subsequent slides, the language should be in a very simple language. There should be no complicated, because blockchain is a technical term. So now in between, if you put a very difficult English word there, language, then their students or myself, also, I'll think that is a technical term. So it is, there should be no confusion. That is the duty of a trainer, to use simple term, simple language. As a blockchain itself is a technical term, and many students don't know. I myself don't know much about it. I have some basic knowledge only. So it will be confused. So you should use a very simple word, simple language, and then you give it to the trainees for learning to happen. So that's the good thing about it. You see, blockchain is the latest technology, and if you can teach it through program learning, and many people are doing that. Many courseware are, following this technique. So that I leave it as an exercise for you. And when you do revision classes, we can discuss this. Right now, I leave this frame as an exercise for you. So, so far what we did, what actually we learned as the advantages of program learning. Program learning has a organized nature of knowledge, as many of you agreed. There is no question of, unorganized material, unorganized teaching, unorganized progress. No, it is the material, the study, the progress, the evaluation, the measure, everything is organized and pre-organized. So nobody can change it. Only thing is that students have the freedom to learn it. Students have the freedom to learn how much and when they will learn, that is up to them. Interaction between the learner and the program. Now, this I have been stressing everywhere, that program is getting, involved in with the learning process or learning system of the trainees. Trainers are not there. Trainers are, hiding behind. Then immediate knowledge of results. Once you see, frame one, frame two, I explain to you that once I give the answer, whether it is correct or wrong, the direction of that movement, which slides I am taken to, remedial or the next frame, I know the result immediately, and how much I have scored also. The out of 3 questions, if I answer 2 or 1 question correctly, naturally they will give feedback on the wrong answers, and uh, try to correct me or give me the correct knowledge. So that is the immediate knowledge of results is very important. This reinforces the learning motivation of the students, and people think, oh yeah, I'm getting some new things, something is happening. As I keep repeating in the classes, the new generation actually believes in happening. And as I said, that we learned, the 20, 40, 80, I have shown you that we hear, we see, and hear, and we see, hear, and do. Here you are doing also that, the test results and everything is in front of you. In some animation things, you can do some experiments also. Learner's own speed. How much I will learn, that is up to me. If I am a learner, then I can think of, I'll spend some time in the evening, or sometimes in the morning, or sometimes during the lunch break. It is up to me to decide on the speed, and I can go a bit faster if I am a hardworking person. If I'm a bit lazy, I can go slow. So that is the beauty of this, program learning. Constant evaluation is there, so there is no chance of missing anything, no chance of having a wrong concept, and no chance of wrong learning. Learning is in a positive way, in a progressive manner, in a logical manner, and sequential manner. These all manners are suggested and fixed by the trainer and incorporated in the program. That is the program learning. These are the advantages. In this, I like this last one, that constant evaluation. Evaluation always increases the motivation of the students, because that increases the confidence level of the students. Now, what are the disadvantages of the program learning? I leave it to you to decide and think of it. We can take that later on in the questions. Uh, about multimedia, now you see the concept of program learning in today's time. It can be very much successful if we club this with the multimedia. Now, how to use the multimedia in that? And now, once you go for the content and put it in use in that, with some animation, with some simulation, with some web online, as somebody was telling. Now, so decide on the content first. What you are going to do? If it will be, some pictures, some movement, some action, or simply text, that you have to decide. What to teach, the communication media, what it will be. It will be film, it will be animation, videos, or it will be through computer. It can be done in the classroom itself. If you think of doing, suppose 2 hours or 3 hours of a practical things you want to teach step by step, you can do it in the classroom situation also. How to teach, methodology and support services, what are the support services are required, how we are going to do it, all these things to be decided before. And what are the multimedia support services you need it, that to be decided. Whom to teach, who are the targets. Now, because these actually, somebody was telling that Byju's and all. Now, basic concept is that the basic knowledge is required on, suppose if I am teaching firefighting, then I know that that man is matured, he knows the basic concepts, and or he has some idea, and he knows basic things about the computer, how to use about the internet, and he has all the gadgets in front of him. So I decide, whom to teach. So these are the selecting the multimedia. As a trainer, that is the most important thing, is that we are bombarded with many options. The right, a good trainer, always decides on the right, methods and right media or right medium, and that is the beauty of this. That is actually duty of the trainer. Now, but technology is not master; it is a servant. We have read in many places, many articles, and many lectures. We have seen that it is not a master; it is a servant. We should use technology. Technology should not be the focus on that video or the film which you saw in the program learning. Rather, it should be the content. It is not the television which is important. It is important in the sense that it is in front of me, but it is what program I am watching or viewing, that is actually the important. So here also the technology should not be getting the higher end or the more important than the content or the education or the training. So technology should be used in that way that it doesn't become complicated, that everybody talks about the technology and less about the program or the tech or the material which you are trying to train. Media is not a message, it is only means. Media is not the message, it is actually the message is your content, your study material. You are delivering that message using the media. That is the thing. So if you select something, then you have to keep all these things in mind. Distant learning, interactive, message, contextual design center, implementation, etc. These are the examples about using the multimedia and the program learning together. This clubbing together is very difficult job, because technology always, we think that I should know everything about the technology before I use it. But if you take help from some people, then it becomes very easy for you to follow and concentrate more on the methodology, on the content, on the material, on the sequencing, logical way of teaching. So you see, basically we are a trainer, we are not a video mechanic or a computer mechanic. So we should, while using the multimedia, we should think of that way. Nowadays, interactive multimedia is there. It can be a face-to-face training. It can be a virtual learning, video streaming, inclusion of state-of-art video conferencing solutions. What we are doing now, you see, I'm sitting somewhere in South Delhi, and you may be sitting somewhere far away from here. But through videos, we are interacting with each other. So multimedia nowadays, has become very much interactive. We can you see, some of you are also interacting by question answer session. So it offers training solutions that are both cost effective and efficient. It's very cheap. You are not traveling to the ISTD building. I'm also not sorry, I'm also not traveling to the ISTD building or the training room. And here I'm sitting in my office. I'm doing everything for you. Only thing is that it is prepared, and you are also ready to learn. You are sitting in front of your computer, and the learning is happening. So it is cost effective, no cost is involved. Example, training in welding, assembly line technology is very important. I have seen in Onida TV factory long time back. These are taught, through videos, through films, how things are happening. And welding, as I said, is risky. Firefighting and driving, all these things are interactive multimedia. Once you do something wrong, immediately they give a feedback, no, it is not correct. So this assembly line also, if you fit wrong parts, immediately they say it is not correct. So these are a good example of face to face, and you face the media and learn all these things by yourself. Exposes the employee to reality based scenario. Now, what is happening in front of me in firefighting or welding, that I can see in front of me, what's happening. It is not something, happening far away. The trainees, what actually they know, that background knowledge is there, but a scenario is being created in front of him, which is almost like real. A training video can be a way of testing knowledge. So a training video also can be, just like programming learning, as I was mentioning. So training video, we can divide into various parts, and how much learning takes place, we can judge it after the video. We can put some questions, what you have seen, what you have done. Now in psychological training also these are used, I have seen. And even in one session, some madam put a question in one session, or say half day session of training programs. A video can be shown for half an hour, and then ask a question, what do you think about this? I have used in, as I have said, check the India film part of that, not full, otherwise the producer and director will catch me. And I have asked some questions, what were the motivation level, how this was handled, and what you would have done in that situation. So the students really reacted in a very positive manner. The visual format of training videos keep the employees stimulated and entertaining too. So training is an enjoyable process. So I see, hear and do, or I hear, see and do. So here things are happening in front of me, and sometimes, the films and other things, if I see, hear and do, then what happens? It becomes some sort of fun, some sort of entertaining. So learning becomes entertaining if we use the program learning through videos. And employees feel that, well, something is happening in front of me. I am doing the welding, or I am fighting the fire, like that. So this is a very important step in the interactive multimedia, where program learning can be utilized, or program learning can be used. Interactive websites are also there. There are many websites. You will see that new training models, if you can use some websites, just like films, you can say some websites also can be used, where things are explained, or things are logically put forward, and the students can learn, from the by visiting the sites. And then you can ask some questions, or you can divide them into frames, and put some questions in front of the students. Another benefit of the website is that they are easily manipulated to fit the training goals. Now, these websites you can change and through a good programmer or website designer, you can change in between, put some new things if the new training goal comes, you can change something and put a different material in a different sequential manner, and it can be done in some program learning methods by breaking up into different parts. Provides a space so where colleagues can learn from each other. Now, this is a good thing. It can be used in a training room or training situation, or even through, because websites, you see, you are sitting at different places, but you are putting question forward to me. So it is, you learn from each other. As I said to Arvindji, I think I forgot his name, Arvindji maybe, that don't put the question which already was put by somebody else. So it is learning from each other. Trainer can monitor the process assessment. Here it is a direct involved. Trainer is not hidden somewhere, and trainer can monitor the process assessments, how many breaks to be given, how many questions to be asked, and how much time should be spent on the video, etc. Animation video. Now, animation videos are very important nowadays for the trainers. We need to learn some basic things. One is keep the content simple. This is very important. They don't put some complicated concepts or the uh, techniques to in the videos that will distract the attention of the students. Learning will not happen. So select the right video with step-by-step explanation. Sorry. So that video should be focused on the learning objective of the student. ये नहीं कि some people do, I have seen, कोई भी वीडियो लेके आ जाए क्लास में, any video they bring it and show it, just time pass. So and then or maybe 1 hour video, the whole 1 hour is spent on showing the video. Maybe half of the video was not required at all. So select the right video, step by step explanation about the content, and this is the selection is to be is the important duty of the trainer. There we sometimes fail. We go to the classroom and think, well, this is my 1.5 hours time, so I'll send 1 hour in video, and then I'll ask some question, and my class is over. But the students are very clever. They catch it and they think it was we did not do justice to them. So a trainer has a duty to select right portion of the video and step-by-step explanation in the content. It should be made within the video itself if you think that that is to be introduced in the training program. Or better is you show it and then explain it and then ask some questions. Breaks at different points to get feedback. You can stop it and ask, what happened in this. So this is, depends again, responsibility of the trainer, where the break should be given. Now, trainer can be present there, or it can be web-based also, and that you see this video and answer these questions. And you break somewhere with, say, two, just like in previous days, films used to have intermission. So you can have a break and ask some questions, and then again go to the next part of the animation video. It should not be too long, as I said, and not too fast. So the video should be visible and a very, not too fast, nothing to be in a hurry to finish it. And it should not be, 2-3 hours continuous that I forgot what happened. It is not like a film. It is a learning material, so it has to be, what I understand, it maximum 40 minutes is good. Minimum, I think 15 to 30 minutes will be better, because after that people lose their attention, people lose interest, and they forget what actually was shown in the beginning, and then move back or something like that. That is wastage of time. So it is better, don't make it a short film. 15 minutes is will be better, I think. And slowly you show it to them so that they catch it, make notes, and then again they see it and then again make notes. So this way what happens, the learning takes place. And if these are the content of the video is done in a program learning method, and nothing better than that. Conclusion by the trainer, at the end of there should be some concluding remarks by the trainer, what the video says, what are the questions, what are the answers, and how much learning takes place in these videos. And maybe in some other programs you can direct the students where they can learn further on this topic. So a concluding remark by the trainer should be incorporated in the program. If you are present there, if you are not present there, then it should be incorporated in the program itself. Computer assisted learning we have already discussed in before, long time back. That is, it is computer assisted learning. In olden times, they used to give a CD and all materials used to be there. We used to call it courseware. And these are distributed, through in a large organization. In IBM, what they do is they develop the courseware and make it available through their intranet to the employees for learning. So this is a distributed medium, and it is very cheap, but courseware can be developed only by experts. So development cost is very high, but delivery cost is very low. And courseware can be modified to meet if something changing needs are there. Suppose a blockchain technology has come in the market, so we need to incorporate that, so we can marketing module, we can include one blockchain module there. So courseware can be modified and meet the changing needs of the students. So why I included these slides again, because to show you that most of the companies nowadays go for it. They develop a material, they develop a courseware, and then they delivered it to the students in a program learning method and through their own internet. And that is, only the employees can access, and they can benefit from the material. This is a very important thing. That's why I repeated this one. Uh, Before I go to the summary, Arunji, should we take the questions for another 10 minutes? Hello?
Yeah, please raise the hands of.
This is Ritu, sir. I just wanted to know, sir, because you mentioned that it has to be normally the content should be logical and sequential, and it should also be from known to unknown, sir.
Oh,
Sir, but
great.
as a
आपने पढ़ाई कर लिया. Congratulations. Yeah, studied.
okay, but
Yes.
at the same time, sir, you mentioned that the young adults are actually, they want something happening. So once as a trainer, we decide to make them curious. So we would like to give like from unknown to known also sometimes, like putting in surprise the theories and then hypothesis, and then they see what happens and why it is we are going like this. Can program be learning be done for that in unknown to known?
Good. You see, you have raised something very good teaching technology question. I tell you, in schools I have seen in physics classes. I studied science in schools and colleges. Uh, you see, my teacher comes and asks a question. Uh, do you know there is air pressure exist? We said no. Where is air pressure? When there is a cyclone or other things, there is only free flow of high speed of wind. Where is air pressure? There is no air pressure. So he puts an unknown thing to the science class in the primary school. I think I was in 5, 6 maybe, and we all were surprised. Pressure of air? No, it cannot be. Pressure air cannot be seen. Then he proved, bring some, that glass water, put a board there or some balloon or something. Then we realized, oh, there is balloon tires and all this. So you see, this is moving from unknown to the known. That can be incorporated, of course, through some subject matter or some paragraph of learning. If you think on it, any topic, this, yes, unknown to known is actually is a good experience of learning, and I have seen it in many times. Put the question fast and then answer, and that way learning also happens. Thanks for raising this question, madam. Anything else?
Thank you so much.
Yeah, Miss Juhi ma'am, please ask.
Hello, good morning, sir.
Good morning, Juhi madam.
Yes, sir, I wanted to ask you that when we go for driving authorities, licensing authorities, learners test, can it be
Yes.
taken as an example of program learning along with multimedia?
You see, the constable or the inspector standing there, he knows know what are the steps you have to do, and it is given in that program or that system of testing. So
Yes.
that is not learning as a whole. That is actually testing
Yeah.
through the frame by frame or maybe step by step. So if you how to put the brake, how to take the turning, how to avoid something, what are the traffic signals. They are not teaching you; they are asking you. So if you go for the training in a driving training school through simulation, as there is one in North Delhi, Ashok Leyland has established a huge training center, uh, and there I have visited and seen that simulation is going on. So it is step by step going on. The trainer is not present. Trainer only comes when there is some problem, some accident happens. Accident means not in reality, in virtual accident. You have taken a wrong turn and crashed. So then the program itself gives the feedback. If you don't understand the feedback, you can call the trainer, and trainer will come and explain. So that way, that is actually training. But what you are saying, licensing, that is testing.
Yeah, so I wanted to ask that if we go for learners test, we prepare from the website. There is a question bank present at the website of Delhi Licensing Authority.
Great, great.
We study those questions and then we take an appointment and go for the learners test,
Okay.
wherein they have 10 questions. And if we answer, there are multiple choice questions. If we answer 6 correct, then it displays that congratulations, you have cleared the test. Otherwise, we are suggested to go back and study those questions again and again.
Great. It is program learning and testing. Good.
Yeah.
It is the same thing what I have been saying,
Yes.
You see, it is the same thing I have been saying. You see, here 10 questions, here I have put 4 questions or 4 frames. So you test, you are okay. Suppose if I put 3 correct, then I put okay. Then you go to the next. And if you are, you go to get the learning license. And if you are not okay, then again you are asked to start from the frame 1. So this is okay, good experience you have mentioned here. I think it's a good learning thing for others also. It is, you already know the thing, but
Yes.
it is put in front of you in the form of learning plus testing.
Thank you.
Yeah. Any question, please? Uh, this program learning is learners are exposed to small amounts of information. You see what madam said about the driving. You see the 10 questions are actually question number 1 is piece of the information, total information what is required for the learner's license. So learners are exposed to small amounts of information, not bombarding the whole thing together. So that is a good thing about the program learning. They proceed from one frame to another frame of information. So I am answering one question, going to the next question, then the third question, like that. So learners respond to questions put to them. So as madam was telling, the frame I study, then a question is put to me, then I respond. That way learning happens, because I grow, my confidence level grows, and I am encouraged to learn further. Their correct responses are rewarded, because if the feedback is given, as madam was saying, that 6 question if you correct, then you are rewarded with a learner's license. So there is a question of correct response, and there is a direct correlation between the reward and the correct response, and this I think is a motivating factor for learning. Incorrect responses are corrected. So if you don't, then again you go to the first frame and learn and relearn. So it is correction opportunities are given, and that is the beauty of the program learning. Learners proceed at their own space. If you think how to do and when to do, it is up to you. Nobody is going to control. So it is a trainee centric method. Logical graded progress. Yes, it is true. As I said, from simple things to the difficult things is, I think that is followed in all learning, from thousands of years, and from simple things to the difficult thing. That is actually the graded process. Use of multimedia can make program learning more effective. This is a new thing happening nowadays: animation, web-based, and computer-based learning. Multimedia, if we used in the program learning, it becomes very, very good and effective, and it becomes universal and cost-effective. And that, I think, we trainer have a big role in adopting this system. Uh, that is there. Unfortunately, our study books, given textbooks, don't have, except the Janik Raman book, 126, 27 pages. Some mentions are there, but most of the materials I have developed on my own. It is not from the book. And if there is no question, any question, no question, then we can stop here. I suggest that exercise, kindly, blockchain exercise, kindly, and develop two questions, and we can take up these questions in the uh, next session when we come back with a new topic. And this is very important things. I want to see two questions and answer to those two questions to be developed by everybody. It will be put on the YouTube by the Mr. Alok Kumar and Mr. Arun Kumar. So please make sure that you answer this and take it as exercise, as a learning exercise for you. Um, Alokji, and giving good feedback. And thanks, Alokji and Arunji. We can stop here.
Thank you, sir.